Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. A 6.6 magnitude earthquake has struck Lushan in China's Sichuan province. It's only a few days in and over 200 have already been confirmed dead and thousands injured. So please keep your thoughts and prayers with the people there. But here's the thing. The people in Sichuan are tough as nails. We're talking about people who eat Sichuan peppercorns for fun. If you've never had one, it's basically like having someone shoot a taser in your mouth. This was where the Republic of China, now the government of Taiwan, put its capital after the Japanese invaded in World War II. I mean, you have to have some major chutzpah to stand your ground against people who would rather blow themselves up than lose a fight. And while some parts of China look like this, Sichuan looks like this. They made it through the 2008 earthquake and they'll sure as hell make it through this. But what I don't get is, why did it take CCTV several hours to report on it? I mean, as soon as the Boston Marathon bombing happened, the Chinese media was all over that. But check this out. I got this from a Weibo user called Advisory Officer Wang Linjun. This is what was on China's official state media. A drama about the Sino-Japanese War, a cooking show, entertainment shows, even Sichuan local cable was broadcasting random junk. Look at the time, 10 a.m. The earthquake happened at about 8 and 2 hours later, still nothing? That's pretty darn pathetic. You gotta wonder, after how bad the 2008 earthquake was, didn't the Chinese regime learn any lessons? Well, apparently not. The earthquake happened on Saturday morning, and a lot of earthquake victims are saying it wasn't until Sunday that trucks with food and water turned up. Well, okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. The earthquake happened in a pretty remote mountainous region, and China doesn't have a specialized rescue and relief system in place, though you'd think that would be the first thing to change. Rather, it's the police and military that handles all that, so maybe it just took them a while to get there. Except they were already there. Right after the earthquake, rights activists and Tibetan monks, Sichuan is home to a huge Tibetan population, tried to get into the disaster areas to help and were met by police and driven off. So their first priority was to actually block aid and then eventually get around to giving aid themselves a day later. But not before plenty of pretty pictures of Chinese Premier Li Keqiang were heavily publicized. So why don't they want people from outside getting into Lushan? It's the same thing they did after the 2008 earthquake, because their main concern is information control, not helping the victims. In 2008, when it became clear that local authorities had embezzled money meant for construction, it caused a huge uproar throughout the country. People called it tofu construction because that's how easily buildings collapsed. Funny enough, it was things like school buildings that collapsed, but all the government buildings were still standing. Some of these activists police blocked were the same ones that reported on the shoddy construction.
Authorities wanted to prevent us from exposing the shoddy reconstruction that happened after the May 12 quake in 2008. A lot of homes collapsed in this quake. Many were built after that 2008 earthquake. Authorities had calculated the buildings could withstand quakes up to magnitude 8, but now they've collapsed under a magnitude 7. This makes authorities lose face.
I mean, it's a disaster area. What more damage can anyone do? Of course, meanwhile, China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chunying is saying everything is fine and there's no need for international aid. So, you have the worst earthquake in 3 years, and the first response by the party authorities and media is to pretend like it didn't happen for hours, arrest people trying to help, and announce to the world that everything was fine and they have everything under control. The first priority of the party is to make the party look good. Everything else is secondary. I mean, what's next? Blaming American citizens for it? But, you know, after the Boston Marathon bombings, this quote by Mr. Rogers was spread around, and I think it equally applies to China.
When I was a little boy and something bad happened in the news, my mother would tell me to look for the helpers. You'll always find people helping, she'd say. And I've found that that's true. In fact, it's one of the best things about our wonderful world.
Regardless of whatever crap the CCP tries to pull, China is full of helpers. All throughout the country, people have been lining up to donate blood. Microblogs have exploded in enthusiastic support of a local reporter who interrupted her own wedding to report on the disaster that struck her hometown. Even a story about a woman breastfeeding an infant baby whose mother just died in the earthquake. So what do you think? Share your thoughts by either commenting below, or you can follow me on Twitter or like China Uncensored on Facebook. And as always, be sure to subscribe for more episodes of China Uncensored. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.